Hi everyone, welcome to day 2 of Happioneers Sales Mastery Systems. I want to start, how was it for day 1? Did you do the exercises I shared with you? So did you write down your goal? Did you stick your goal on your mirror where you brush your teeth? Did you put it on your phone? Did you write it in your notebook? So that everywhere you see, you have your goal in mind. So you have your sales goal. What is it that you want to achieve from this program? You see it constantly. Did you write down your role models? Who are people you want to model? They could be in your business, in your industry, in other industries, people you want to learn from. The way, if you recall, I modeled from somebody who had come first in the 10th standard and how I came first too. And I have used that system in every area of my life. So did you write down your models? Did you start reading, or did you think of, or did you make a note of the book I told you need to read? That's The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy. Did you check out the movie Guru? The reason I'm giving you all these things is because I believe in complete immersion. When you want to learn something, you need to be completely inside it. So it's not just this session you're doing, it's not this, it's your whole life. Everything. So every moment, if you start thinking, excuse me, sorry, I get very excited. So I was saying, your whole moment, every moment, if you start thinking, how can I grow my business? How can I increase my sales? All the time, you will grow. And that's what you need to do. You need to become completely immersed and passionate. So now that you did the exercises, which I'm hoping you did, because that's how you'll benefit. By taking action, we benefit. Before we go into today's session, I want you to do a small fun thing. It's a task. I want you to do it right now, because I believe what you do now is the best thing. Whatever you do now, it's the best. So what I want you to do is look at the people who you wrote down as your role models or you want to model. So if you're working in a company, who are people you aspire to be like? So they could be higher performers, the best performers. If you're already a best performer in your company, who are other people in your sector you can learn from? If you're a business person, if you're a business owner, who are people you aspire to be like? Who are people? And what I want you to do is simply, if you have their contact details right now, write them an email, drop them a message, appreciate what they are doing and become friends with them. So appreciate what they are doing. So whoever is better than you, whoever is really doing well at whatever you want to do, appreciate them first. So as I told you, convert the jealousy into inspiration. That's what modeling is. So start appreciating them and send them a message. And if you can appreciate them in public, even better. So if you're on platforms like LinkedIn or social media, if you can appreciate them, tag them, even better. So start appreciating them and bond with them and make a friendship. And I've used this strategy all the time, and everybody I work with. So, I work with many people, who run billion-dollar companies, and many of them started off with nothing. And all of them share this. They say we became friends with people who are more successful than us, who are better than us, because when we have friends who are more successful, who are better than us. So if you want to be a billionaire, one of the best ways, or if you want to be a millionaire, the best ways is to become friends with billionaires. And what happens, what am I trying to say? Or if you want to be an athlete, or you want to be anything, if you want to become fit, become friends with people who are already fit, because all those qualities will come into you. So if you want to lose weight, I don't like to use the term lose weight, because again, your focus is going negative. I like to flip it. I like to say, if I want to become fit, if I want to become more energetic, if I want to have a lot more vitality, if I want to be able to have fun, I will become friends with people who are into fitness. So if people around me are already practicing yoga, eating healthy, I get inspired by that. But if people around me are eating unhealthy, they're drinking alcohol, they're putting on weight, they have pot bellies, that inspires to me. So the people around us really drive us. So since this is a sales-oriented program, we are focusing on influence, persuasion. Figure out people who are really good, which I'm sure you would have, and now become friends with them. Establish a rapport, establish a connect, drop them an email, meet them, spend time with them, call them. And I want you to do it right now. So if you have the number of somebody, so this could be anybody you might have met in your company, the people whose name, whose list you made yesterday, drop them a message right now. Say, hi, I really love what you're doing and you're an inspiration for me. A simple message, because that starts a conversation and then you can lean on. I have used this strategy a lot of times. I'll share what we did. So I was in my 20s, and I, with my partner, we wanted to start a real estate company, a real estate development company, a construction company. And when we wanted to start out, I do this in every business, I said, okay, the area we are targeting in Mumbai is the Bandra Khar Santa Cruz belt. So this is a belt, we said this is the specific area. So we had a specific goal. We want to do redevelopment projects. So we want to take smaller old buildings, 2-story, 3-story, and rebuild them. We didn't have a lot of capital, but we had a vision. And the first thing I did was I decided to connect with people who are already doing it. So everybody, so existing developers, existing real estate consultants, people who are really doing it and are the best. So who are number one? So I would just pick up the phone and call them. I said, hi, I'm Yogesh Chabria, we are coming to this market new. I just wanted to speak. I love the work you guys are doing. Can I have a meeting? I won't take a lot of time. Let's just meet and discuss if we can have any alliance. I just want to say, you guys are doing great work. And most of the people were open. We met them, we became friends, and they shared certain insights. And I was honest about it. I was honest. This is the sector we are coming in. And if you see in every business, the people on the top really ally. They really know each other, they really work with each other, and that's how humanity grows, So what I want you to do is have that sort of mindset. I want you to have a mindset where you see who's the best in your field, whatever you're doing. If it's insurance, who's the top 1%? If it's pharmaceuticals, who's the top 1%? Whoever it is, and establish a rapport, connect with them. This is the basic ingredient, because these people might have invested 20, 30 years of their life to reach the top. Now, if you go and interact with them, share ideas with them, and give them value, if you can be of help with anything, help them out. That's one of the things. So that's something I want you to do. If you can do it right now, if you can drop the message, I'll give you 10 seconds, or 15 seconds. If you have their number, write them a message right now, and then you take the conversation ahead, meet them, speak to them, call them, take it ahead. So you have 15 seconds, start it right now. If you don't have their contact details, make a note of it, give them a call, later. But if you have their contact details, or if they, right now I want you to do it, 15 seconds. Great. I hope you did it, because there's a lot of fun, because when you do things in the moment, in the instant, it's fun, it's playful, and that's how you should be in life to move ahead. So today what we're going to talk about is the buying process. To understand selling, you need to understand buying process. And the best way to sell is to not sell at all. What do I mean by this? Let's say you were to walk into a room, let's say you were to walk into a room and you told them you're a salesperson. Most people will have a negative understanding. Let me be frank with you, because people consider sales with, what do people consider sales with? They think, okay, the person might be pushy, the person might be manipulative, the person might, not have my best interest in mind. And that's why the best sales professionals in the world, the master salespeople, never call themselves salespeople. You can see this in any industry. I'll give you an example. Maybe in your industry too, it works this way. But in any industry, I work with all the industries, this is how it works. So if you are in financial services, you will never say, I'm a salesperson. You might call yourself a financial consultant, an investment banker, an insurance consultant or agent. So there are, or a wealth advisor, or a business, a relationship manager in banking. Now all these people, or you will be called an investment banker, all these terms. Or if you are in politics, you might be called a president, or a prime minister. But what does a prime minister or president do? They sell their idea, they sell their vision so that they can get votes. So in any industry, the best people are not called salespeople. Or in pharmaceuticals, they might be called medical representatives. So in all industries, if you see, the best are not called salespeople. So the biggest thing is, if you're in a company, even in our company, the role of people who are into sales, we don't call them salespeople. We call them, they are value creators, value creation. They create value for our customers. So you need to first understand the first biggest secret to selling, really selling, is not to consider yourself a salesperson. Because when people consider you as a salesperson, they have a lot of negative perceptions. And you shouldn't just sell, you need to solve challenges. And I'll show you the strategy right now. So why do people buy? All of you who would have heard sales secrets would understand the concept of, pain and pleasure. You would have understood it. And most people buy to avoid pain and to get pleasure. So if your product, if your service means they can avoid the pains they have and they can get pleasure, they will buy. It's that simple, and it's also that in depth which you need to go. So people buy, that's the basic reason. So people buy. Let me ask you a question. Do people buy for emotional reasons or logical reasons? And tell me honestly, look at your own life and you'll get the answer. People buy first from their emotions. So whenever we buy, any buying decision you would have made is first from your emotions. So first it's emotions. Once your emotions connect, once you get connected to the product or service, then you bring in logic. So first it's always emotions. And if you look at any advertising campaign, hundreds of billions of dollars are spent on ads. You would have grown up watching ads. I grew up watching ads. And if you look at the most successful ads, they use this technique which I'm going to share with you. So if you remember, there was an ad by a soap manufacturer which made soap to clean clothes called Daag Achhe Hai. Stains are good. Daag Achhe Hai. If you think about it, it was Surf that made this ad, and that ad led to massive sales. It became a beautifully successful ad. And what was the underlying message of that ad? What do they mean by say stains are good? The underlying psychology of that was they show a child playing in mud. The child is playing in mud. The clothes are getting all dirty. And this time, the mother is not feeling upset or irritated. Usually, moms get very upset, my son is there, mischievous kids, they play in mud. So my mothers feel, oh my God, my son is playing in mud, his clothes will get dirty. But now, what was a pain becomes, it's not so bad because now they have the product. What is the product that solves the problem? That Surf Excel. And that's the basis of buying. People buy only when their pain points are brought out. What do I mean by it? So if you want to sell to anybody, the first thing they need to realize, this might sound bad, this might sound whatever, but this is the truth. I want to share the truth with you so you can grow. People buy when their pain points are triggered. What do I mean by pain points? So in this ad, what is the pain point? Dirty clothes. So now when the customer watching or potential customer at home, and the lady or man or anybody is watching that ad, now they start thinking, oh, even I have bad clothes, even my clothes get dirty. And what do I need to solve this problem, this pain point? I need to buy a product which is Surf. So if you can trigger pain points in people, if you can really this doesn't have to be manipulative, this has to be the real pain points which you can bring out of people. And if they understand that, oh my God, this is a problem I have, this is a pain point I have, until this pain point is not solved, I don't feel happy, I don't feel satisfied. And the way to solve this pain point is your product or service. If you understand this, this is the basic ingredient for all sales, for all marketing. Look at any ads. And ads, it's a science, there's a science behind ads, where they study psychology, everything. Another ad, so there's one ad of Surf Excel, which you would have seen, I'm sure. The other ad, there's an ad called, which says from A se Aha tak. It's an ad for a pain relief called Move, which says A se Aha tak. That means you have a problem, so you have a backache, so there's a problem. The ad shows somebody with a backache, with a problem, they're struggling in life. If it's a father, he can't pick up his son. If it's a mother, she can't bend. So the first trigger is the pain point. So if you also have that point, it gets triggered, oh yeah, even I have this pain point, even I have a backache. And what is the solution they give? The solution they give is the medicine or the spray or the gel, whatever. And as soon as they put that, they feel happy, they feel excited. So in less than 30 seconds, they're showing you the entire sales process. And people make buying decisions within moments. Remember that. It doesn't have to be, I never use a PPT. So I never use a PPT because I like to connect from the heart. I like to share what's in my heart as a friend. And when we speak to friends, we never use a PPT. So I just like to connect what's in my heart. And that's what it is. So if you look at any ad, you look at any selling or buying process, if you understand the buying process, you'll understand that it's the same. And whenever you have bought something, it's the same process going on in your subconscious mind, inside your psychology. In fact, I love reading the Gita. You might be aware it's had a huge impact on my life. If you look at the Gita, if you look at what Krishna does, is also exactly the same thing. What does Krishna do? So Arjun is there, you know. So Arjun is, you could say, a potential buyer, and this buyer is a tough buyer, right? This buyer doesn't want to fight the war. He wants to give up. He wants to run away. I'm sure you also might have met some buyers like that, you know. They don't want to meet you. They don't want to speak to you. You know, they're not interested in your product or service. So Arjun is very skeptical, and he says, no, I don't want to fight the war. You know, if I fight this war, I will be killing my own brother. I will be killing my own cousins, you know. So I don't want to fight this war. I want to give up everything. I want to go, you know, become, you know, give up everything. And Krishna understands his customer. Krishna understands Arjun. Krishna and Arjun are friends, you know, and Krishna understands the psychology of Arjun, and he shows him pain points. What does he show him? He makes the pain real. He says, Arjun, you know, if you give up this battlefield, you have trained your entire life to be a warrior. You have trained your entire life to be an archer. That is your dharma. If you really run away from this battlefield, if you escape from this battlefield, everybody will insult you. Think of it, they will talk about you, you know. They'll say there used to be a great warrior, and that warrior ran away. Why did he run away? Maybe because he was afraid. He was not able to fight, and they will insult you, and you will become a laughing stock. People will make fun of you, people will insult you. And he showed Arjun the feelings of insult. He made him feel the pain. So what was he trying to do? He was trying to increase the pain, and he succeeded in. He used other strategies too, but one of the main strategies Krishna used for Arjun was, he told him, if you run away from the battlefield, you will be a disgrace. You will be a disgrace not only to yourself, but to the entire warrior race, to the Kshatriyas. You will be a disgrace, and for hundreds and thousands of years, people will speak badly about you. They'll say, Arjun was a coward. Arjun ran away. Arjun was not brave. Arjun was not a warrior. Is that the type of disgrace that you want to come to you and even to your family? So what he was giving him pain, that if you don't fight this war, you will lose out. You will feel pain. You will feel disgrace. And if you understand this, your job is done. So you, as a sales professional, as a master persuader, as a master influencer, you have to keep this in mind. If they get your product or service, you know, they win. And if they don't get your product or service, you know, they are going to lose. That's how it is. And once people get this in their mind, if they associate pleasure to having your product or service and pain to not having it, your job is done. So what you need to do in any selling process, you know, any selling process, the first thing you need to do is stir up the pain. Let them feel the pain of not having your product or service. And how do you stir up the pain? You can't just go and tell a person. If you tell somebody, you know, if you don't have my product or service, you'll feel pain. You're not going to sell. The way is to direct their mind, and this has to be done in a completely honest, ethical, respectful manner. I'll give you another example. Some of you, even, you know, when we do our live sessions, or even now, sometimes I get emails and they tell me, Yogesh, but isn't that a little bad? I'll tell you, no. Let's say there's somebody, you know, who is overweight. Let's say somebody is overweight, and you know, you know, they might be a friend, they might be a partner, they might be a husband, wife, child, father, mother, friend, anybody, and you really care about them, right? What is the way to get them on? Or maybe you're somebody who's selling, you know, some health program. You're selling yoga classes, or, you know, you're selling a gym membership, or, you know, something, you know, you're a dietitian, whatever. You want to sell them your product or service, or you want to sell them your idea. I also believe you can sell ideas. So you want to sell somebody, till you don't ask them questions, till you don't make them realize, till they don't realize that what happens to their life when they are, you know, when they're not healthy, when they are overweight, when they're fat, what happens to their life? If they realize that, okay, by being overweight, it affects their heart, it affects their health, it affects, you know, how they perform, it affects their energy levels. Only once they realize that, and if they continue doing this, what are the ill effects? You know, diabetes, heart problems, all the problems that come in. Once they realize all these things, that's only when they will start moving towards health. This is what happened with me. I'll share this with you. There was a time in my life, you know, I told you we started the construction business. It was doing well financially, but one fine day I was just walking out of a meeting, and as soon as I was walking out of a meeting, suddenly, you know, I blanked out and I collapsed. And, you know, I was rushed to the hospital. My wife, Gauri, she got very worried. You know, I was 28 that time. And, you know, the doctor does all sorts of tests. You know, he puts me in all sorts of tests. And, you know, he tells me, you know, you have high cholesterol, you have high BP. And he gives me lots of medicines, you know. and I start taking those medicines, but somewhere down I know something is not right. And again, after around a week, 10 days, I fall, and this time my right shoulder is in a cast and I'm forced to bed rest. And then when in bed rest, I start asking myself, why is this happening to me? What are the reasons? And I figure the reason is because my lifestyle is not good. I have become overweight, so when I look at myself, I can't close the pants, I can't close my pants because I have a big stomach. And I said, this is the thing, my lifestyle is not helping me. I'm constantly in work, so even at 2 in the night, 1 in the night, I'm focusing on work. I'm not focused on my health, I'm not focused on my family. Even when I'm eating dinner or lunch, I'm looking at my phone for messages. And I said, I have to change it, I have to become healthy. So I got a pain point. And what was the pain point? It was from the universe. I got a pain point that I need to change, and I'm happy that happened, and I changed everything. I started practicing yoga, meditation I would even practice. And all those things, I became healthy, I became fit, and my relations improved, and even my productivity improved, because now in limited time I could do my work, and then when I'm doing other things, I focus on other things. So when I'm playing with my son, I'm playing with my son. When I'm with my wife, I'm with my wife. My relationship improved, and that the trigger was a pain point. And in life too, you need to make sure your customer realizes what are their pain points. And what is the best way to direct somebody's attention towards a pain point? It's very simple, by asking questions. So no matter what you are, if you ask people questions, so if I was to ask you, how does it feel, or if I was to ask you anything, how does it feel to be missing out on sales, or if I was to ask you, are you happy with your sales? Most of the times, if you ask the right questions, people will tell you, I'm not very happy with my sales, or even if they tell you, I'm very happy with my sales, you say, okay, how would it be if you could increase your sales? Assuming you're happy with your sales, which is very nice, but how would it be if you could further increase your sales? Would that be something you would like to have? And if you ask the right questions, you keep asking the questions, people will always tell you. People always want something or the other. And if you can figure out what people want by asking the questions, you will direct their attention. So if you ask them, okay, if you're selling something, you ask somebody, would you like to be fitter? Do you think you would feel more energetic if you could be fitter? If you could be healthier, would that be something you like? And then their mind goes to, they are overweight or whatever. Or how are your energy levels right now? How do you feel? Do you feel energized all the time? How do you feel, How do you feel? And when you ask these questions over and over again, you get to the pain point. So that's what you need to understand. In anything, even if you're selling consulting, anything, if you can ask the questions that make them realize that without your product or service, they will continue to have pain, and with your product or service, they'll have pleasure. So associate pleasure with having your product or service. So whenever they get your product or service, they feel pleasure, and not having it means immense pain. That's the simple thing. That's how simple it is. I'll share another example with you, how this works. So I have a close friend, and there's a lot of people like that. I have a close friend, and he's a fan of Apple products. So every time, so let's say he has whatever phone he has, the latest Apple iPhone, whatever, and just before the launch, you also might be knowing such people probably. Just before the launch of the new phone, suddenly he starts feeling pain. What does he feel? He starts telling me, when he says, Yogesh, my existing phone has become slow, the memory is not so much, the speed is not so much, I'm thinking of buying the new iPhone, and that's when I know his subconscious, his psychology has been trained in that way. So his neural pathways in his brain have been trained that way. Whenever the new iPhone comes out, he has to have it. Has this ever happened with you? Have you felt that way? Just because something new is coming, it might be a phone, it might be a car, whatever, the earlier one starts feeling bad. So you suddenly start discovering it had no problem, but only when the new product. Has it ever happened with you? Think about it. It could be with anything. Your shoes, your t-shirt, with anything. Suddenly the old one starts feeling bad, which was perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine, but your psychology starts finding out doubts. And that's what the buying process is. People start finding out problems. And if people start finding out problems on their own or pain points on their existing product or service, that's how they buy your product or service. So why does somebody buy a new car? Even if you're selling IT solutions, let's say you're selling IT solutions, you're selling software, you're selling anything. Once people start finding problems or pain points with their existing systems, with their existing things, because your product is better, Your product is nicer. Your product can satisfy those needs which people have. Your job is done. And that's how the buying process starts. So what I want you to do right now, I'll give you a task right now. I want you to write it down. I want you to write down 3 major purchases you would have made recently. 3 purchases you would have made. It could be anything. Don't look at groceries, but anything major. So a phone, shoes, whatever, And what made you purchase that product or service? So I want you to write it down. You have 1 minute, 3 purchases, whatever comes right in your mind, write it down. And what feelings, what emotions made you buy that product or service? And what were the pain points you were trying to avoid when you bought that service? Right now, I want you to write down 3 things. You have 1 minute. Think freely, just write it down. Whatever are 3 products or services you would have bought recently. And if you write those things down, I guarantee you on your subconscious level, if you study it, you will realize it's the same thing. You want to avoid pain and pleasure. And you're willing to spend or invest that money because the value you get, the pleasure you get is much more than the amount you invest. That's the underlying principle. And once you understand this, you can implement it in every area of your life. So whether you're selling in person, whether you're selling online, anywhere, whether you're speaking on the phone, you can implement this and really benefit from this strategy. Moving ahead, so you understand the psychology, that's pain or pleasure. And if you look at advertising, study ads, study some of the best ads in history, and you will understand how they do it in 30 seconds. Any ad you see, even if you see those ads for, deo sprays when we were teenagers, teenage guys are a big market for deo sprays. So Axe deo spray, what is the thing? What is it that if you understand the psychology of, say, the Axe deo spray ad, it's very simple. What is the pain point? Guys, young guys, teenagers, or guys in general, have a pain point. Or what is the pain point? They might not be able to speak to a beautiful girl, or a single guy, 18-year-old, 19-year-old, he might be hesitant to speak to a beautiful girl, that's what the ad shows. But as soon as they put this perfume, Axe, they put this deo spray, suddenly he feels more confident, his persona changes, his personality changes, and now he gets a beautiful girlfriend. Now what is the pain point? It's confidence. They're not body odor, it's body odor, but what is the psychology? When you put this spray, it's confidence. And now when the guy puts the spray, if you see, anytime a guy was going on a date, they used to put these sprays, even when we were in high school, we used to put it, even saying, it's nice to smell good, and the guy feels confident. So what does that ad show us in 30 seconds? The pain point is, a lack of confidence, not able to speak to a girl, not able to approach a girl who's a beautiful girl. But as soon as this deo spray comes on, which is Axe, the product is Axe, this person is confident, this person is smooth, women are attracted, and that's the thing, and that's what they do in 30 seconds. That's with every product or service, and you need to understand how you can do this with your product or service. So I asked you 3 products you bought. Now what I want you to do, so you wrote down 3 products you bought, as well as the psychology, the buying process behind why you bought those 3 products. Now I want you to write down 3 products you did not buy. You were about to buy, probably you were about to buy, but you did not buy those 3 products. I want you to write those reasons down. What were 3 products? You might almost have bought it, but you were not, the person selling was not able to convince you to buy the product. So write down 3 products or services that you did not buy. You were about to buy, but you did not buy. I want you to write it down. 30 seconds, just write it down. Whatever comes in your heart, just write it down. Instantly comes out from the subconscious, instantly write down 3 products or services you did not buy. Did you write it down? Okay. I'm assuming I heard a yes and you wrote it down. And if you study this, if you studied 3 products and services you would have bought and 3 products and services you did not buy, you will understand the buying process. Now, why did you not buy those products and services? If you ask yourself that question, and I believe questions are more powerful than answers, because questions direct you. So if you ask yourself, you will figure it out on your own. Why did you not buy that? You will come up with a list of reasons, and I want you to write those reasons. Why did you not buy that product or service? And as you keep asking, you will get to the depth of it. And I will share this with you. There's a formula to this, which is called the NPV. Now, what does this mean? The NPC, not we, sorry, NPC. NPC, what does NPC mean? I'll share this with you. So the reason, as I told you, if you keep increasing the pain points in people, they will buy, right? So let's say I want you to draw something. So write N, okay? So I'll show it to you here. Just write N on a piece of paper. So N, so this way, just write N. Draw an arrow to the left and write P. So to your left, draw an arrow. So in the center, N, P. And here, write C. So NPC. What does NPC stand for? N stands for now. This is where your customer is, whoever you're targeting. This is where your customer is now. P stands for pain. And C stands for close. Close the sale, close the deal, right? So now pain. Now what you need to do, wherever your customer is, and I'm assuming you have qualified your customer. What do I mean by qualified your customer? We will share in it. We will go in the depths of it later on, that this customer can, we'll go in the depths of it. But assuming you have a customer, so the first thing is, now, what is the present mental framework of your customer? You need to understand that. And now, by asking questions, you need to direct their mind towards P. So you need to increase their pain. So you need to ask them questions, direct their mind towards pain. So the more you increase this, the more pain they feel by not having your product or service, by realizing what they are missing out, the faster you can close. So you keep increasing their pain points. You keep making them realize what are they missing out by not having your product or service. You can do this through stories, you can share questions with them, so you can ask them. So any product or service you are selling, if you ask questions, you can direct their mind. So anybody, let's say for example, you want to sell them a system. Let's say you want to sell them a computer system. So if you ask them, if you go for a meeting or on the phone, you ask them, okay, how's your system doing? And if they might just say, our existing system is great. You say, okay, how would it be for you to save an additional 15% every year in financially? If you had a new system, would that be something nice? And now they start thinking about saving 15%. They say, yeah, it would be nice. So if you start asking questions, so you say, okay, so if you would save 15% every year, what would be the value of this in the next 5 years or 6 years? And they make a calculation.